like, it's Joan of Arc, and she only speaks French, and she's really like badass and cool, and like, but she's only speaking French, and we're like, see.
Joan of Arc is good. I like the idea of Da Vinci because it gives him a kind of like R2-D2-esque quality to him if he's only speaking Italian. And like my character would know it, so he says something and I'm like, oh, well, Macerto, of course, yeah, obviously. But then everyone else is like, what are you saying?
That's a real opportunity for like all of his devices and inventions and stuff to be like the instruction manual or like voice activation is all in Italian. So if he's ever not around, we have a very interesting sequence that then follows of like, well, how do the rest of us who don't speak Italian figure out how to use that fly machine?
Obvious running gag deactivation phrase is Bolje. Red struggles with it for 5 minutes. I walk up 2 seconds later. Bolje, get in.
We have like the bit with like the horror movie guy pursuing. It's like, I can't get the keys. It's like, I can't pronounce the word correctly. Mamma mia.
Hello, and welcome to a very special New Year's bonus episode of the Overly Sarcastic podcast. We are so thrilled to be done with yet another year on this planet, Earth, and
good
fucking riddance.
Sorry, I can't swear. It's way too early in the pod. We're going to get demonetized.
We're going to have to quack that one out.
Oh, no. It is a gift to me for the new year. You've added a reason to continue editing the podcast. Now, we're so excited to be back, as per you, talking about this year in OSP and things that we're excited for to come. And I feel like people know the drill at this point, right? We've done this a couple times. I've had multiple haircuts over the span of this podcast. So why not just get right into it and start with our first category. If I could get my drum roll, please, for the most viewed of each of your videos this year.
Well. If it isn't my old enemy.
Welcome to the British Isles. Or maybe just the Isles. Well, Britain and Ireland? You know what, forget it. Welcome here!
And in the midst of all these secrets and lies, there's one other crucial detail that the Count is actually unaware of. The Romeo and Juliet fanfiction playing out right under his nose.
I invite you to join me as we blame France.
We have Red with the Count of Monte Cristo and Blue with the complete history of the British Isles summarized.
Woo!
Monte Cristo was a bear. You almost put this one in most pain in the ass.
I would have, but it kind of won most viewed.
Yeah.
Like, it's rare for a late stage video in the year to do that. Like,
yep.
The funny thing is, because of when we record these and like when Journey to the West goes up, it never makes the list ever.
I was thinking about that the other day. It's so sad.
Because it's always like the very last video of the year. It doesn't like outcompete every other video in the space of like 4 days. So, but it's kind of rare for the Halloween special to creep its way up like that too. And this year Monte Cristo popped off and then just kind of continued, which was very cool, very very interesting, worth all the work, I think.
I mean, you killed it. It turned out fantastic.
Thanks. Yeah, it's not exactly rare for us to like put in the work on a video and then be like, man, that was all worth it. But with Monte Cristo, I was really able to bask in that one for like a month. I was like,
good.
Wow, yeah, I've summited that mountain and it fucking ruled.
Yeah.
So that was fun. And on your end, another long game to play.
Very long. Yeah, I didn't actually necessarily plan on doing this one this year, but the complete history of the British Isles summarized, I don't know what video it was that I finished, and I'm like, you know what? I actually think I can put this together. I was like, fuck it, yeah, let's go and do this. So I was like, okay, I'll put this all together. I'm not gonna try to go Rome mode on this and like redo everything to the same like visual standard to make it all shiny and consistent. But I took a page out of Red, your book, the Heroes of Greece,
right,
that whole thing where you did the director's commentary style, which I didn't do for Rome. You did this for this one. I was like, oh, this is really, really, I like this a lot. Because I felt like I wanted to put the Britain, Ireland videos together, and I'm like, I don't want to rewrite all these scripts. There's no fucking way, man. No, but in being able to do the director's commentary was like, let's sit in this for a while. Let's, string these things together and kind of tell a little bit of a narrative history, and then go back to the painful ones, particularly Scotland, and be like, let's spend a little more time. Let's unpack what I was doing here and where we can see I've gotten better at this.
You
but then
continue to be braver than I when it comes to actually like getting back in the weeds with your older stuff. I still like, the turnaround for how quickly I can't look at something I've done without pain has gotten shorter. It's out of the 6-month window. It's now like the 3-week window, which is fun.
We'll get to this in a bit. There's one video further on this list that's like, oh, how soon can I turn around and do the resummarized on this one? How soon can I salvage this?
That's the devil talking. That's why I can't, because oh man, the temptation. Which is kind of funny because like on the flip side, like with Monte Cristo, there were drafts and drafts of this going back years. Like I mentioned in the video, like I was playing with this idea back in like, can't have been as early as 2017, was it? Oh God, it might have been.
Someone can check that in the comments.
Yeah. Back in the day when I was making Classic Summarized, I was like, it doesn't really get much more classic than Alexandre Dumas. I gotta get in there. And then, oh man, so many drafts, and like that's one where I'm glad I waited. Because if I had like done an earlier version and then I had tried again this year, I think I would have maybe lost my mind. But actually, like, waiting and taking my time, we must have mentioned the funniest part of this one was, like, I got the script down to a crisp 16 pages when normally mine top out at 5, 6 if I'm really feeling the topic. Yeah. And I sent it to you, and I was like, please help me trim this down. And you were like, unfortunately, this is very good. It's like, fuck.
Because what you had told me was, like, please help me trim this down, but also I really like everything that's here, and I feel like it's not going to be too awful to draw this because I have the chart. And I'm like, well, since you said you have the chart, I'll trim down a couple things. But I'm like, I gave this to you, I'm like, I can cut more, but do you like what you have in here? And you're like, unfortunately, I like what I have in here. I'm like, all right, then here you go.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was worth it. I do have to call myself out for giving everyone else my best crack at the French pronunciation, and then just going Albert, because I was like, yeah, I know how to pronounce that word. It's Albert. And I was like, oh, no, it really should have been Albert. What am I doing? Yeah. But yeah, so... This is the one thing that I've done this year that was bad. The only problem.
Only one thing. One thing only.
I get one. But yeah. So.
But these turned out well. One from the earlier part of the year, one from the end. Both very long. Sometimes the detail diatribe threatens to steal the crown on these, because sometimes they can pop off.
Well, we did have
my second place was, I think, Batman, maybe. But I don't know.
And we had the Superman one this year, which also did quite well. It didn't go like crazy viral. It just like performed quite well.
But it did well, yeah.
It was fun, yeah.
Our audience is definitely waiting on our take for that one.
Yeah, that one, a lot of people within the first hour, like, yes, I knew it. But yeah, no, it was definitely a lot of fun. I think with Monte Cristo, it was, I mentioned, like it felt really good to put in that much work for something that then did that well.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yes, that felt very proportional. That feels like my efforts being rewarded. So I'm glad everybody liked it, and thanks for watching it.
I suppose the one last thing I can say on the British Isles one is some people were sassing me that I'm like, it's not the British Isles, like, doing Ireland dirty like this, and it's like I lampshaded in the first 3 seconds of the video. I briefly contemplated in like the 2 days after the video uploaded, like, do I just put like the British asterisk Isles in the title? I didn't, because I thought that was a little too cheeky, but it was like, fuck you guys, I'll change the title. I'll lampshade myself in the thumbnail.
May as well.
Yeah. Well, speaking of videos that you enjoyed and that our audience enjoyed, we've got the next category, your favorites of your own videos. So drum roll, please. Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
Venice is a state whose entire deal can be explained by one classical element: water.
You know, I feel like we as a culture have kind of lost sight of what a ghost really is.
Lest they be corrupted from learning in icky foreign lands and come back home thinking monarchy is cool. Gross.
She's not even the most memorable name in the trope about her own murder.
Red's favorite of her own videos was Trope Talk, Haunting the Narrative, and Blue's was History Summarized, Venice on Land.
Classic.
Question mark. Yeah. Let's start with Haunting the Narrative. This was definitely your best Trope Talk of the year. Halloween ones have been popping off.
I weirdly, the Halloween trope talk thing, because it's never like on Halloween, it's always just in the month of October. I'm like, I'll do a spooky one. And last year I was like, yeah, I'll do a nice chill topic, personifying death. And then it just ended up being like a gut punch of grief, which was pretty fun. And then for this one I was like, yeah, haunting the narrative, you know, that thing, all the people on Tumblr are always saying about haunting the narrative. It's another gut punch of grief. I'm sorry. There's only so much I can do to like minimize that. But yeah, no, I thought that one was a really interesting exploration of a concept. Because, you know, at the start, I was kind of like, okay, well, how do we define this? And, like, it is so close to, like, the concept of fridging. So how do we distinguish between these two things? Like, what
did you say, like, does the narrative give a shit is the difference?
I think that is a very good way of framing it. Like, how much does the narrative care? It's funny, if I had waited, I would have been able to use a primo new example. I have now watched Wake Up Dead Man, the latest Knives Out. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there is a primo haunting of the narrative in that one. Like, so good. A character who has been dead for decades by the start of the movie is probably the most important person in it. And
Howard Stark.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, it was definitely very interesting to unpack as a concept, and sort of like some of the stories like that, some of the tropes like that are sort of too easy to get really in the weeds on the real world side of it. And like, there is obviously a gut punch of grief in there, obviously, because you can't really avoid it. But I did manage to, I think, keep it fairly solidly in the space of writing. And like, here's how you write a character that haunts the narrative, not just being like, wow, the impermanence of all things. And I got to talk about Freerun for like 8 minutes, which was awesome. I finally got to unpack that.
I will at some point watch it.
You better. It's good. They announced a season 2. The trailer came out. It looks awesome.
Yes.
So that'll be fun. It's kind of rare that I do a trope talk that has so central examples that are just the foundation of the script. I usually try to keep it a little bit more like general, and then I'll use examples as like visual illustrations, but I try not to make them like mini detail diatribes. And in this one I was like, no, I got to do a triple whammy of like the 3 really big ones. I got to tap back into Steven Universe for the first time in a while. That was fun. Such a minor note, but it's really hard to use Steven Universe for visual examples because all the plot points are scattered across like 50 plus episodes, 10 minutes each. So it's like, okay, I want to show this clip, which is 10 to 15 episodes away from the next clip I want to use because everything else is very silly. But oh well. The
turned out great. It was a great trope talk. I gotta say,
I had fun.
My submission for my favorite this year is one of, I think I really liked all of the videos that I made this year for different reasons. I don't think this is necessarily like my best work, but I feel like every time I finished a video, I'm like, fuck yeah, that was awesome in a way that I don't always feel. And some of the topics were more niche, so they didn't necessarily connect as strongly. But there were, I think, 5 videos this year where I either in like the process of writing it or after I finished making it and uploading it, I'm like, I cracked it. Like there's something like in the like scholarship of this topic that has not existed like in a public setting before, and like I have cracked it. And the one that I feel like I got rewarded for the most was either, and this was close between the complete history of ancient Greece, where like the tripartite model of like intangible culture, material culture, and society, like that is what defines this thing. And the culture part continued, but society changed irrevocably after Alexander, and that's why like ancient Greece is like, you know, cut a line through it. It's something else now. I like cracked it. Amazing. But the other one that I feel like I actually like really nailed was the Venice on land, where it's like, what is the relationship between this island place, this insular, tiny, single city, and this landmass they suddenly have, you know, outside of their front moat. I was going to say front door, but they don't have a door. It's a moat. It's just the lagoon. And the ways in which they interacted and why Venice didn't need it and then said, actually, fuck, we probably should do this. How it changed them for inarguably for the better, and then how it saved them when the 1500s rolled around and the Ottomans and the New World completely upended their previous model of doing things. Like, I cracked it. I felt truly like I understand Venice so much more for having done that video more than any other project on them for the channel that I've done. Like last year I had a couple great Venice videos for the Venezia, the worst Venetian ever, Venice steals a saint, and the St. Mark's Basilica itself. And I'm like, these are great. I love doing them. But like Venice on land, I cracked it. I see through the matrix. I understand Venice and the Veneto now in a way that transforms how I interact and conceive of this thing. And people seemed to really, really like it. And I got to use so many of the photos that I took on our trip to Italy. So it's nice when I get to use my own visuals. I don't have to go trawling through Wikimedia Commons or looking at paintings and stuff like that. It's just like, I have a picture of this that I took in good lighting at a good angle, so I know it works. Click, insert, drag into Final Cut. It's perfect.
That was the other fun part, is how much it reframed the places we visited when we were in Italy. Because I was like, oh yeah, Padova did have that kind of, it didn't feel like when we went to Venice, but it did feel like something. And then with the context of that, it's like, oh, it felt like what Venice felt like when Venice was alive. Interesting.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But,
well, speaking of...
And also like Padova, they had the clock tower first.
Well, speaking of you guys going to Italy, I'll give you a hint about one of the winners of this next category. But as we now heard Red's favorite of her own videos and Blue's favorite of his own videos, let's hear the... not quite the opposite, but like the other side of that, which is your favorite of your partner's videos. So, drum roll, please. Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
Did you know that there are more reasons to travel than just rare cosmic alignments? I know, it was news to me too.
But hey, crisis averted, right? Give it 12 years and things will be back to normal.
So when a scusa and a scusate turned out to not be enough for most people, I just started going beep beep.
We'll show our enemies a good time, win glory on the battlefield, secure the future of our empire, and be home by Christmas. What the hell were they thinking?
Red's favorite Blue video was History Summarized, The World in 1900, and Blue's favorite Red video was We Went to Italy.
Yes. Let's save the best for last. I really want to talk about your, well, no, wait, that came out so mean. I meant let's save the one we were both looking forward to. Fuck, sorry. What I meant is,
That's
let's
so
save
funny.
let's save the one that I know you have a lot of affection for, because it's the one that you picked for last, and let's talk about your really good video about the world in 1900.
Very generous. I hear you and understand exactly what you meant to say.
I put my foot in my actual mouth if I wasn't on camera.
I wasn't even thinking about it like one video entry ago, but this is probably the sixth entry in which I think I can say I probably cracked it. Less so because World War I is everyone's fault is kind of a cold take in academic circles, but it hasn't quite crossed into the mainstream understanding where it's still like, oh, World War I was like a senseless tragedy and it was nobody's fault, which is true at first. And then you start looking and it's like, oh, all these motherfuckers wanted this.
Yeah.
Oh.
The part that was a senseless tragedy was how nobody backed down because they all had a thing they wanted to get out of it.
Yeah.
So,
like, by September, it was a senseless tragedy, but like June, July, August, off to war, baby.
which is interesting because I do feel like part of that has snuck into the general narrative, because the whole thing of like, we'll be home for Christmas, like this will be another jolly good war, just like all the others that we've won. And like that part of the framing is like, oh, so you're down for this. You think this will be fun and funky and like make you a cool hero when you come home with the lads. And then it's like, so wait, why were you so interested in killing all those people?
Yeah. It's usually used to frame the tragedy. So it's like, oh, we'll be home for Christmas. Little did they know World War I was a senseless tragedy. It's like, well, they thought they'd be home for Christmas because they thought they were going to kick everyone's ass.
Yeah, which meant they were fine with that initial outcome where they go and bulldoze their neighbors.
Yeah, they were super excited to shoot the people one country over. Yeah.
I
Please,
thought
go
the way
ahead,
that you like unpacked, because this is a part of history. It was unfortunately possibly my first exposure to history being really boring, because my summer reading one year was Barbara Tuchman's The Guns of August. I know she's a very good historian. I was like 13 and my attention span was not there. So I had to like slog through just like, and then this guy made this phone call and this guy did this bit of unwise paperwork. And so like seeing it reframed as an actually interesting exploration of, you know what World War I is. How did it actually happen? And what was the world like before this thing happened? And I'm personally kind of fascinated by those points of inflection where the world was incomprehensibly different before this thing happened. It's not even on the list because I think this was last year, but the my Those Dang Phones video was part of a similar concept of like, what was the world like? It was definitely last year. What was the world like before this thing
2023
happened? Oh God. Well, it was not this year is the important part.
Yes.
But the concept there of like, we sort of remember a world before like the technology we currently have changed it, but the world works differently. The muscle memory is different. Having a phone in your pocket completely changes the way you conceive of your place in the social circle and the world around it. And the world before that is kind of gone. Like, it could theoretically happen again if some kind of massive cataclysm knocked out the internet, but it's unlikely to happen. And then you look at the world.
Come on.
Hey, no. We make our living on the internet. Come on, dude.
The energy I am bringing today, I am so sorry.
You're channeling your inner wine mom, I think. Just a little, this is dangerous.
This is dangerous.
But,
this is Sencha tea, speaking of drink orders that we have not spoken of today.
Yeah. I made hot cocoa, and I have a whole extra thermos of it off.
Don't worry,
to
we'll
one
get to
side.
it.
It's like the metal thing they give you for the milkshake.
Oh, I mean, I wish. It's, so, but anyway, just the concept of like, what did the world look like before a century of possibly the most tumultuous changes in 100-year interval? Because it's like, okay, World War I, World War II, there's plagues, there's the Great Depression, there's so much like social reform and like civil rights movements and like, various upheavals. Just like the world in 2000 and the world in 1900 are literally worlds apart. And it's kind of interesting to look back at it and be like, what was the first domino? What actually happened? And who was setting up those dominoes in the first place, and why did they want to do that?
Yeah.
So I thought it was very, very cool. I liked it a lot.
I adore that video. We'll follow up on that in a second. But Red, tell us about your experience with the Italy vlog.
Yes, I really like how I've been able to sort of start making travel videos. It feels very silly to sort of be deriving from first principles, one of the oldest forms of like YouTube video content of like, I went to a place, here's a video about it. But like, I have a lot of fun doing them. And this one was probably the heftiest and the one that did the most well so far. Cause like I'd done little videos for when I went to see the annular eclipse, and then when we went to see the total eclipse. And those were a lot of fun. They played very well.
I watch that video every once in a while. I go back to the eclipse one with our road trip. That was really fun.
Yeah. And like they play very well with the space nerd crowd. That's all well and good. But the Italy trip, definitely a lot more people were like, oh, I want to go there. Because I guess the thing with like an eclipse is like, well, better luck in 2040 something when it becomes visible from the North American continent again. It's not like, oh, I should make plans to go see that. It's a little bit different. Whereas with Italy, it's like, I should go to Padua. Thank you, little devil on my shoulder. But yeah, it was very fun. It was a very fun trip. I'm glad we got to do it. It was like inside baseball. A couple of our friends have had a baby, and that was like the last trip we got to take before they stopped being able to travel for baby safety. So that was another big part of why it was so much fun. And it was really interesting getting to see all these like historical places. I mentioned in the video, like a lot of it is just like me being an American, but I'm not used to being in places where you can just look at the street and see the history of the place. America tends to like plastering over its history and pretending it's not relevant.
We had all these beautiful Beaux-Arts buildings into the early 1900s, and we destroyed them all for parking lots. There's Old man yells at cloud, there's a rant and a thing. Continue.
It's just, there's, some of it is psychological, but also some of it is kind of practical. Like, there are benefits to newer buildings made with better technology, but it often comes at the cost of, like, you knock down the building because it's old and it's ratty, and then 50 years later you regret the, permanent destruction of this timeless monument because at the time you were like, it's old, it's ratty, nobody cares. It's like, well, we're gonna care. Trust me, we'll care when there's not one on every street corner.
The experience that you're describing with Italy is similar to an experience I had actually in Philadelphia when we were there for PAX Unplugged, and I was walking around Rittenhouse Square. It was a very beautiful part of Philadelphia, and I was seeing like all this beautiful iron work on these buildings, and I'm like, anything that has survived any amount of time into the present day has only done so because a nearly unbroken line of people gave a shit.
Yeah.
That's the whole deal.
And it's interesting because it's not just like, oh, the evil real estate developer wants to knock over the building. Because it's also like not actively maintaining something will kill it. I read a book earlier this year called Islands of Abandonment, which was about like how when places stop having caretakers, they so quickly become very different. You know, nature reclaims them, but what that looks like is very different from circumstance to circumstance. And it's like, hey, yeah, cleanliness and maintenance are aberrations of the natural order. Like, not to sound like a judgmental paladin, but like it takes so much work to keep something livable. So being in a city that has been continuously livable for like 700 plus years was kind of weird. I had a really good time. I thought it was very interesting. It did kind of throw me for a loop when we were like, oh, we finally got real Italian gelato. And then I went to New York City. I was like, this is the exact same gelato place that we went to
Emarino.
in Italy.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I mean, I know it's authentic, but
no, we went to Venki, which was not.
Well, we went to a lot of gelato.
We went to
Challenging
one of them.
all of your gelato places straight. Almost as challenging as the next videos that you guys made in this next category. Yes. If I can get my drum roll, please. Ziggy,
the amount that we could have gone long on this category if left to our own devices. For America's third act on the world stage, they would destroy the global economy. Belatedly.
If you have a creative person in your life, or are a creative person in your life, or spend any amount of time on the internet watching the artists and writers toil away in the posting mines to someday fulfill the dream of affording hamburger, you are definitely more than familiar with the epic highs and lows of the artistic process.
Alright gang, the year is 1918 and the First World War is officially over. And not a moment too soon. Wait a minute, first? Oh, fuck!
And of course, the one farmer in the bunch tries to explain how he should still get Thalia because when you think about it, crops growing is a little bit like comedy.
Red's most challenging video for the year was Miscellaneous Myths, The Muses, and Blue's was History Summarized, The World Between the Wars.
Yeah. Did you
Let's save the best for last. Let's start with the Muses.
Yeah, no, completely fair. Because here's the thing, like the real answer to this question, it's Monte Cristo again, but we already talked about that. Because like the thing is, the Muses video was sort of deceptive. Because I had been working on that concept for years. I had had a script done for a while. I had had a video in progress for like 7 months. That's kind of unusual for me. I will usually start a video and finish it within like some number of weeks generally, but I usually won't put it on hold while I make a bunch of other stuff. But
that's how the Robin Hood video fell through the cracks for 2 years.
Yeah, a very similar circumstance. And honestly, for similar reasons, Robin Hood has a huge corpus of literature about him, and a lot of it is like very different. A lot of it is derived from different like periods in history and all that jazz. And with the Muses, it's like, yeah, not only are there not many myths about the Muses where they get to take center stage, there's a lot of like theological and philosophical arguments about them from the Romans, which feels relevant, even though it like, okay, yeah, I really want to read a dense philosophical dialogue between 15 guys arguing about things I don't have context for, just to like scrape out the crumbs of like, what is this actually about with the Muses? So it was hard, it was tough, and then I like worked my way slowly through like the first half of the video over the course of 7 months, and then I did the back half of the video in 1 day. So thank you, Muses, for letting me do that one fast and easily.
Yeah, it was very surprising to get the text updates on that one as it was happening over the course of that very long day.
So surprise, it's finished now. Yeah, I also didn't really know how that happened. Yeah. But yeah, it was tough. It was... Sometimes when a video has sat for that long, I wonder if I should just rewrite the script from scratch, knowing that I am a better writer now than I was the first time I was writing, or like a better researcher at that point. But like, it was just on the cusp where like I had already done like diligent research for it. Because like with a lot of my older like deep dive myth videos, I was less diligent about like making super sure that like I had all the correct primary sources, that I wasn't like accidentally taking somebody at their word for something that turned out to be some like random neo-pagan bullshit that wasn't actually true or whatever. But with the Muses, I was like, no, I'm fairly confident this is as good of the research as I could have done at this point. And the only thing is like, maybe I could punch up the jokes a little bit, and that's not really worth it. So I'll keep what I have rather than tearing the whole thing down and starting from scratch. And I think that was the right call. But
meanwhile, on the other side, video that maybe I could have probably rewritten from scratch about 4 different times and still been like, ugh.
There's no winning with the World Between the Wars.
There was not. And I finished the World War I video, the 1900, and I'm like, God, that was so satisfying. I feel like I cracked it. It was great. And I could see as I was doing this work, getting to the end of like 1913, 1914, like so many of these threads that lead into World War I lead straight out of it because they are not resolved in any meaningful way, diplomatically, militarily, or otherwise. If anything, it's just reinforced. And it's like, oh, I can connect this little gap because I have from like 2020, my Cold War and decolonization, which starts, right on, Victory in Japan Day, 1945. And it's like, all right, how did we get to 1999, 2000? How did that whole span of 55 years go down? Yeah. And I had leading up to World War I, I'm like, if I can make that gap, I have a perfect history of the 1900s that just skips over the wars and takes them as a fait accompli.
Ramps that shit.
Yeah, I was so happy to do that because it was a worthwhile project to take on. And I knew it was going to be hard. I didn't anticipate it would be the most fucking soul-sucking, abominable, Google image search history ruining thing I've ever done in my life.
Which is funny because, I feel like we could have anticipated that, actually. It's like, okay, so I want to see the consequences of World War I that caused World War II. Surely this will be a barrel of laughs.
I wasn't anticipating the specificity it would require. Like, I knew I'd be talking about fascism and stuff. I knew I'd be talking about genocide. Right. As I did the research, I realized, the through line of all of this is the consistent, genocide as policy, weaponizing this against, anyone who is inconvenient for you. And then Germany and eventually USSR being like, oh, we can do that, but, way more. Oh, tight. Nice. And the escalation, it's like World War II did not appear out of a vacuum, and getting to that point was agonizing. The script was much longer than the 1900 script. It was longer than I wanted it to be at 5 pages flat when I took it to some very generous beta readers on Discord. And then with many rounds of notes, I got it to longer than I wanted it to be, even more. And then after finishing the video, I'm like, I could have added another 2.5 pages and still felt incomplete, just because there's a paragraph hiding by implication inside of every other paragraph in there. And I probably could have gone to the specific point of name drop the concept of appeasement. I should have done that. I was kind of by implication painting Britain and France as not a very regal figure that they're cutting. But I could have been like, no, I actually need to hammer this more, because they didn't stand up for Poland because it was the right thing to do. They stood up for Poland because they knew it was their ass, and soon if Poland went. So when I eventually history re-summarize this, it's going to be tight as fuck. But I have to get to that point now. And one of the problems was also that I lead in with okay, basically I have to, by the nature of when we're starting the video, present first modern genocide as Armenian genocide. But of course, if we jump back to the previous century, we have Boer War. Britain basically maybe invents the concentration camp. Trail of Tears in America. Britain and French colonization and Belgian and the Congo of all of Africa. France getting a start in Vietnam. All of these genocides in a colonial context that I had to hide behind implication would have been really nice to show that as the continuous model that is being extrapolated out of this colonial context and then into Europe, with the first time that happens kind of within one's contiguous borders. Although actually, potato famine in Ireland, so that is still, it doesn't fucking end.
It is kind of interesting. It feels like the 1800s was sort of the crucible in which genocide as policy was forming, but the 1900s is when it started being executed to one's next door neighbors en masse. And World War II kicked off when that started being aimed at other people with the big guns, which is fucked. I mean,
unambiguously your own civilians within your contiguous, territory.
It's very interesting because I feel like the way you described that, it's you had in your head the awareness, okay, I'm going from one nightmare to another. I'm bridging the gap between two of the worst, darkest periods in human history. And then you find the specific part where you're like, oh my God, all of these people were just okay with this much death until it finally started to hit home. Yeah. And that is deeply personally disheartening in a way that World War I and World War II, when written on a piece of paper, do not feel that visceral. No. But Yeah, staring down the barrel of that, you were in a state that week.
It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
There was one day where I was driving to dance with Cyan, and I was like, the light had left my eyes. I was like quoting the list of the search terms that I had to put into Google that day, because it's like, oh, like war, Armenian genocide, sure, but like the specificity of terms to like, I can't just use this random image of like a kid sitting there starving. That means nothing without context. I need to have images of dead bodies or it doesn't visually work. So the shit I had to trawl through, enough.
Yeah.
Enough.
Most challenging. Well earned, most challenging. Far more challenging than my most challenging.
With that, we have one category left to breach. I'm so sorry, Ziggy. You've got to be doing literally anything else.
Will you be able to get it out before Ziggy wrestles the microphone
Probably
from you?
not. Oh, your butt just going to stay there the whole time? Anyway, this is the Y'all Sleepin' category. The videos that you guys thought people did not give the love it duly deserved in its day. And so if I could get my drum roll, please, for the final category.
You're telling me this book was written in, checks notes, 1968? That's square in the middle of stuff we don't normally talk about. What's going on here?
Quebec. It's Canadian. It's French. It's complicated.
Turning the unicorn into a human man. Could never figure out how to turn it back. The unicorn grew old, got married, no kids, but died of old age. And when the unicorn hears that, she's like, damn, that's fucked up. I sure hope nobody does that to me. Wink.
Skyscraper? Art Deco? Doesn't matter. Everything is a chateau. Now send this to your friends to totally chateau them.
Red's Y'all Sleepin' was detailed diatribe, why you should read The Last Unicorn, and Blues was history summarized, Quebec's architectural memory.
Nice. Yeah.
Should we start with The Last Unicorn?
Yeah, may as well.
I need to cool off.
The steam just blowing out of your ears.
God.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty good year for my detailed diatribes, I gotta say. Normally there's at least one where I'm like, oh, okay, come on guys, I really thought I cooked with this one. It was kind of between this one and the Finding the Best episode of Love, Death, and Robots, which also was one of my lowest performers, but that one, I feel like got as much attention as it needed. Love, Death, and Robots was already kind of a niche show, but like with The Last Unicorn, I'm like, no, listen, you all need to listen. Like, look me in the eyes.
Yeah.
You all need to read this book. But yeah, I guess like the pitch with the Y'all Sleepin' is like, well, here's why you should watch this video. And in that specific case, there's a lot I think I really like about that, in part because you came in with the energy of like, I didn't read this book and you can't make me. What are we going to do? I was like, hell yeah, baby.
That was also a tough week.
Because it's like, okay, well, you could always watch the movie, but, you know, I like the book a lot better than the movie. And then you watch the movie and you were like, I didn't like this movie. It's like, yeah, if only there were a better way. It was very like... I'm
the guy in the infomercials in the black and white before they cut to color.
Yeah, spilling an entire pitcher of lemonade. If only there was a better way. So that was fun. But it was a good video. I liked unpacking the story, sort of trying to like figure out where it lay on the gradient between, you know, sincerity and like self-awareness, because it is very sincere. It's very self-aware. All the characters are fictional characters and kind of know this, but like, how does that translate into a world like this? And of course, you know, I drew parallels to Discworld because Discworld also kind of does that, but like the people in Discworld feel more solid and real than the people in The Last Unicorn, because the people in The Last Unicorn are like, that's a fictional character, buddy. And then the people in Discworld are like, my world operates on fictional rules, but I don't have to like it, which is fun. But yeah, I highly recommend, if you have not read The Last Unicorn, if you've only watched the movie, or if you haven't done either of those things, I recommend watching the video for why you should read the novel. Or just read the novel. Either one is fine. I count it as a win either way.
Chef's recommendation, do not start with the movie.
Probably not, yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I came around by the end of like, oh yeah, no, this does sound like a really good book. And then I haven't read it. I've been way too busy.
You've been busy, yeah. There's time.
Yeah.
But well, okay.
For my Y'all Sleepin', finishing my scheme from earlier, there were 5 or 6 videos where I felt like I cracked it, and 3 of them were rewarded and 3 of them were not. This is one of my 2 detailed diatribes in 1 history video where I had the Pathless Journey and Abzu kind of like architecture deep dive, which was super, super fun. Austin Wintory and Matt Nava both said they loved it, which was very reassuring. That came a day after I had the time to be like, oh God, I'm fucking washed. This sucks. And then the Gautier one, where by that point I had to send it. I'm like, very few people are watching this, but I got what I needed out of this. That's fine. This was so weird of a pull to do. It's totally okay. I by that point I had ascended, but the one I'm like, okay, like give this one a shot. I think anyone can actually really enjoy this. It's not a horrendously niche topic, was the architectural memory of Quebec, which is the most beautiful city in North America, probably the most historic city in North America, short of like probably Mexico City, maybe as it beat, in terms of like shit that has happened thence. But it was so fun to... Backstory. I went with my dad on vacation because a very long time ago we had gone together and it was like, oh, this is great. We got to come back sometime. This was we came back sometime. And it was so much fun. Again, I took a bunch of pictures I could use for my own video. It was a very fun feeling. Going through the history of all these, beautiful buildings and various, historical buildings and forts and walls and this and that and castle towers and city gates, and then the Frontenac, this big, most photographed hotel in the world, explaining how that came to be and why and what it did to the idea of Quebec as a distinct culture within the broader aegis of Canada. It's not just, architecture is a lens on this history. Like architecture is kind of like it. It's French as a language, and then everything else is architecture. Yes, obviously art and, movies and film and all the other mediums, literature and stuff, but so much of it was crystallized via the architectural heritage built into Quebec City itself, and being able to trace the very clean through line of that was extremely rewarding. And I feel like I understood it so well by the time I had finished the research and kind of completed the video and presented it. And it was definitely a video where, had I tried to do this remotely, online in books, I wouldn't have gotten half the stuff that I was able to find by going there, reading, plaques in the city, getting books that I really can only get in bookstores in Quebec, talking to people, seeing all these little details, like the 4 different UK flowers for Scotland, England, Wales, and Ireland on the railing of this random balcony. Is this imperialistic imagery is baked in here, and those kinds of things I would not have noticed if I didn't go there and just sit on a balcony with my dad for an hour looking at the beautiful view. I'm like, oh hey, what the fuck is that? So it was a very satisfying video to put together and to arrive at this concept of what Quebec is and what it means, so thoroughly expressed through the architecture, and connecting it to other little bits of kind of Canadian history and the railways, which are really cool, and how it is a very kind of imperial project, and then the way in which that is kind of contested between the more Anglophone elements of Canadian history and identity, and then the very specifically Francophone elements, was really cool to kind of play in that space, that tension. And I noped out of the modern Canadian politics right when I should have. Independence, not touching that. Not for me to discuss.
Well, you guys should not have noped out of these videos, so definitely check out the Y'all Sleepin. Pause this podcast right now and go watch both Y'all Sleepin and then come back for the second half, because we're about to transition into the Q&A portion of the podcast. Before we do, any final words, red and blue, before we exit into said Q&A?
It's nothing crazy, but for 2026, we are doing a thing that we are calling Chill Year, where we are still going to be uploading videos, but we are going to be uploading them bi-weekly instead of weekly. So
that bi-weekly.
Yes, it's that bi-weekly, not that bi-weekly. It's the other bi-weekly. So we're for Chill Year, basically, we're going to be uploading something every other Friday. We're still going to be alternating, which means each of us gets so much more free time, which we can use for activities, which should be fun. And also, this year was a lot. It was good. A lot of very good things happened in it, but also it was a lot and very tiring. So to be a little bit nice to ourselves and to give ourselves some time to creatively recharge, we are doing other things and giving ourselves more time between videos. But the upload schedule should stay consistent, and hopefully you guys enjoy, because we're excited.
Yeah, hour for hour, you might end up actually getting more out of us next year, because we're going to be doing a little more of the detail diatribe type stuff.
The longer
at least
videos,
for me, I'm putting the history videos on pause for a year, because it takes so much research time. And I want to spend time writing and working on other things. And Red, you want to spend time working on the comics. So it's,
yes.
Instead of trying to cram our other artistic pursuits in between video stuff, we're giving us a year of chillness.
Yes.
And we hope you continue to enjoy the stuff that we provide for you to enjoy on Chill Year.
Yeah. But that's basically the only thing we have to announce. We're excited for 2026 and yeah. So Q&A.
Hello and welcome to the Q&A portion of this very special New Year's bonus edition of the Overly Sarcastic podcast, where we answer your questions from Ask OS Pod on Discord. This first question comes from one of our lovely patrons. If you'd like to support this and all of our regularly scheduled podcasts, then consider becoming a patron for a chance to have your question read first on a future episode. This question comes from Luinator, a question for the New Year's bonus episode. To all, every year I stumble across new creators that I love. If the same happens to you, and if you do the same, what did you stumble across this year? Any recommendations? So any creators or just anything else you discovered this year that you want to recommend to folks listening to the podcast?
Let's pull up my YouTube homepage because my memory is trash.
Yeah. Eddie Austin got big this year, right?
Yes, he did
Yeah.
get big this year.
Yeah. Those have been really fun.
He's been great.
Yeah. This isn't new by any stretch, but because I did a lot of driving this year, I needed a lot of background noise. And aside from listening to the podcast produced by our very own Indigo, Sophia, I spent a lot of it listening to like NADPOD.
NADPOD's great.
Yeah. D&D Court. Because I still don't have much luck listening through D&D actual plays, but D&D Court is so entertaining. It's got that perfect like Smosh Pit Reddit reads thing. Also another thing that I didn't really watch before this year, but I tremendously enjoy.
I've got two, one for myself and one for Cyan and I. Cyan and I have gotten big into Alex Steele's blacksmithing YouTube videos. He's got a very fun energy. Him and Jamie, technically he's just the guy behind the camera and his editor, but he has the energy of the co-host, who's constantly like ribbing him throughout the process of Alec making these like Damascus axe heads and stuff like that. So it's been really fun watching him make stuff. I've been enjoying that a lot. And also there's a weird pull perhaps, but also potentially not surprising at the same time. I've gotten into an interior designer named Caroline Winkler, who does a lot of like, let's make over my subscribers' apartment room. I found her on a video that was interior design for the men of Reddit, and the thumbnail was like her looking very demure, and the text says "call the police." I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I went in, and she's giving like very informed and like humorous, but also very like specific and good advice on like how these sad men can redecorate their rooms. And it was funny because she said like, if you don't think that what I'm doing here is exactly your shit, don't subscribe, you'll fuck up my analytics. And I'm like, that is really bold. And then I subscribed and I've watched all of her stuff since. So it's been really fun. I've been enjoying that a lot. She has like this big like townhouse in Washington that she's been like slowly renovating room by room, and she has like a whole multi-series vlog of the process, and that's been a joy to watch. So maybe a weird pull, but I've been so thrilled with those videos. Whenever there's a new one, I'm like, oh, let's jump in, let's go. What's she gonna talk about today?
Yeah. I watched some Sarah Spaceman. She does like cosplay stuff. She recently made her own wedding dress using her cosplay skills, and it looks awesome. It's very cool. Oh gosh, there's a few like there's a bunch of like craft channels that have been around for ages that I just didn't get into. Just like I watched a ton of Evan and Caitlin this year. I watched a lot of Nerd Forge this year. I got the Nerd Forge like hoodie and pants.
Oh yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yeah, so those are fun. Because I don't re-up my wardrobe very often, but sometimes I see something where I'm like, no, I need this and I need to make it my personality for the next 3 months. So that was fun. But yeah. Pretty good year. Pretty good year for
a lot of good
stuff.
recommendations. A lot of cool people doing cool projects out there. So it's fun to get to shout them out.
I've also been watching some of Stanzi Potenza's
Stanzi,
stuff. That's been fun. That's been fun.
I got a lot of her shorts recommended to me because I got into watching YouTube shorts earlier this year. I have to like pace myself because it's catnip
I
for
thought
my
you
brain.
meant like
I can lose hours
clothing
in there.
item shorts because we were literally just talking about clothes. I'm like, Red's getting really into shorts this year. Hell yeah, Red.
God, no, never. No. My
Wouldn't
legs
be me.
Tank tops.
Never,
Dance
absolutely
world.
not. I got into YouTube shorts. YouTube shorts. And there's a lot of like almost exclusively shorts creators. I've been seeing a lot of Sellsword Arts.
Yes.
Our friend Joxy Whipper is going to be like on a D&D podcast with Sellsword Arts and a bunch of other like weapons guys. Blumenek, Instructor
Bensei's a gem. I like his stuff a lot.
Yeah, those are. I've been watching him do increasingly more complicated meteor hammers, and those are just always really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stanzi mostly did shorts, but she's been doing longer form content. She did one about Ocean Gate earlier this year that I've rewatched like 7 times. So those are a lot of fun. Yeah.
A lot of very cool recommendations. Hopefully we'll find even more cool stuff by this time next year. But we've got more cool questions to get to. This one comes from King Leo 170 to Red. With the drink order at the top of each episode being a recurring bit, which of the drinks you've had since its inception have been your favorite, and which has been your least favorite? So do you have any... I'm not going to make you memorize every single drink you've had in the last year, but... Do you have a one that lives in your memory that stands out to you as a favorite, or one that you notably have avoided since having it?
Oh man, it wasn't the drink order for the pod, but I got an iced banana bread latte a few weeks back.
No.
Yeah, you can tell already how bad this was. Because it had that like artificial banana flavoring. But the thing is, I had this while I was hanging out with my sister, and like it was just because like I was like, oh, this is disgusting, and like every time we were talking about anything, she'd be like, oh, hey, you're really leaving that drink alone. I was like, oh yeah, I should take another sip. So like, because it was a bit I had to commit to, so like I drank like half of it. It was so gross.
That's tough.
So that one's definitely not a winner in my book.
Did she take any sips of it, or did she just
God,
inject
no,
you
she
to
doesn't
it
like
the whole
coffee.
time?
she was never going to drink it. I did ask, but she was like, no, are you crazy? But you should really take another sip. And I'm like, oh yeah, definitely. So I mean, it's like chicken. It's bit chicken at that point. If I chicken out, then I lose. But yeah, that one was bad. Favorites? It's seasonal. In the summer, I really like the peach iced tea. I'll sometimes get that one's very refreshing. I've been trying to make it a rule to like hydrate with water. So like if I'm thirsty, just drink water first, and then like other drinks are like extra. Peach iced tea, I will chug by the gallon to hydrate. I don't care. And for the winter, it's the homemade hot chocolate. I've been, there was a stretch where it was really cold, and I would just like in the morning, first thing before I started any work, I would make a thermos of hot chocolate and I'd sit it next to me while I worked all day, and it was awesome. So highly recommend.
It's been abysmal out today, and I'm contemplating making hot chocolate for Cyan and I like instead of dinner.
That's the move.
Yeah, well, some good beverage recommendations and perhaps some warnings written in the stars to avoid next time you're in your beverage zone of choice. But this next...
No matter how appealing the banana bread latte sounds, it's a trap. Oh, that was not on purpose, no.
Well, this next question comes from Apathy in UT. To all, what is the project that you've worked on outside of OSP which you are most proud of?
I got one, and it's the Venezia.
And are you proud of it?
Yes, I am. Maybe one day it'll actually get printed. Soon.
My publisher sent me 50 copies of Aurora Volume 1. 3 months after it hit shelves, after almost everybody I knew already had one. I have managed to pawn off one so far.
And that was because I told you who to give it to.
Yeah. I might be able to get rid of a couple more this weekend. I think a friend of mine has friends who were like, I want one signed. So anyway, yeah, I'm very proud of it. I'm getting back into it. It's been on pause since I had to do Monte Cristo and... The video's out by the time this goes out. Journey to the West. Journey to the West. I had to do both of those back to back. I could not do that and also Comic Progress. But I'm back in it and I'm excited.
This is the joy of chill year. We get to actually do that shit.
Yeah, exactly. The longer this year went on, the more we were like, oh, chill year is so the right move.
Yeah, we came up with a plan for it like by this point a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's going to be 2026 and we need to do a little bit of prep to get us to that point. And as this year went on, it's like, oh, thank Christ. Thank God.
Like, we had an ambitious version of Chill Year where like we spend 2025 like buffering all our videos for Chill Year, and that did not happen even slightly.
I got 3 videos into that, and then I got so fucking sick in February from Capricorn in Chicago, which was a blast, and I was the only person who got sick
You got whammied.
somehow.
Yeah.
Got whammied, and then like I just fell off the. I could not do it the rest of the year. I'm like, I'm in keep up mode now. Great, that's the game.
That'll be the fun of Chillier. To shout out a project I worked on outside of OSP that Red is also involved in that I'm particularly proud of this year. Rolling with Difficulty, our D&D Planescape podcast entered its third campaign, started this summer, and I think it's going really. We started recording the new season of it. It's going really well, but it was really fun to get to bring those new characters out and to flex the terrible, vaguely Eastern European accent muscles. So really having a lot of fun with that. But lots of cool projects from.
Is she trying out for the Craven cast?
Trying for Craven.
It's been a big year for that.
Yeah, huge.
Like Mighty Nein just dropped, so Jester is also like top of a lot of people's minds.
yeah.
So
Yes.
I gotta watch that too.
Big year for the Slavic accents.
I watched Full Metal Alchemist. That was my big year thing that I did.
We're all also very proud of the
The
different
accomplishment
media
time.
we've consumed this year.
I'm
Yes.
especially proud of Blue for actually watching Full Metal
Yes.
Alchemist Brotherhood front to back.
Yeah.
I didn't think the day would come. I'm very proud.
And I liked it a lot.
Well, in a somewhat related question from Lazy Eye of Horus to Red and Blue, what is your favorite kind of media to make detailed diatribes about? Film, TV shows, video games, etc. You've done some that are none of those three things. So do you have a favorite type of media to make a detailed diatribe about?
Interesting. I'm not sure I have a favorite type of media. Because I'm of the opinion that, like, you know, there are certain stories that are made better by being in different media. Like, a movie kind of needs to be self-contained, but a show has the benefit of sort of continuing in perpetuity, you know. And I tend to like... It's weird, because, like, there are so many shows I really like that I haven't made detailed diatribes about. Somebody at PAX Unplugged was like, why haven't you made a reboot detailed diatribe about it yet? And he's like, because I would need to pick a detail to diatribe about. And, like... Oh, fuck, I just thought of one. Okay, I'm not off the hook anymore. I have a good one. Bad news, Blue, you're going to need to watch 3 seasons of television.
On this, the day that they cracked the original master copies.
I know! I just heard! It's so exciting. I'm going to be able to watch it in HD and make you watch it in HD. This is going to be awesome.
Well, now that it's in HD, I'll finally do it. I'll see every single
that was the real
polygon.
problem. Listen, I was there in the dark ages when you had to, like, watch the 480p rips on YouTube.
How would Reboot look on a CRT? I feel like it might actually look kind of good.
I mean, it would be kind of fuzzed around the edges. The parts of Reboot that are a little bit harsh on the eyeballs for like an audience acclimated to how modern CGI looks are not going to be benefited by a CRT TV. Like, CRT TVs can do magic with like pixel art, but the main thing with Reboot is like, oh, everyone's very smooth and nobody really has hair or like loose fabric or liquid textures.
CRT hides a lot of sins.
Maybe you can just like watch it without your contacts in and see if that makes it feel better. But I'm sorry. Did I just snipe you? Oh boy. Okay. Anyway,
Never mind.
what was the question?
What media is best
Yes.
for detailed diatribes? When I can get away with a game, I really like it. Sometimes it goes super hard and really well, such as when I did the Breaking Fate with God of War Ragnarok. I think that's probably an all-timer of my thesis statements of like, Fate is a metaphor for generational trauma. I'm never going to have a take that good again. But when I can do, like, I liked the Uncharted retrospective on like Nate and Elena's relationship a lot. I think maybe the framing of it and the wider collab it was a part of maybe led me to framing it in a way that was not conducive to making clear what was actually happening in it. But I liked being able to tell that story and be like, no, like actually a lot of these games are doing a lot of really cool things, and Uncharted 3 has a better Nate and Elena love story than Uncharted 2, even though everyone loves Uncharted 2 the most. So crazy, but yeah. When I can do a game, I like doing a game.
Yeah, it's funny. Oh man, we must have mentioned I watch a shit ton of Jacob Geller. It's just I don't think I discovered him this year. It took me 5 videos of his to realize he's technically a video game YouTuber. I was like, wow, these are such fascinating explorations of phobia. It's interesting how he mostly uses video games for his examples, even though he also relies heavily on like books and stuff. And then I was like, oh, he self-identifies as a video game person.
It's funny, he has talked about exactly that. I think the concept of his new book, You're Not Overthinking It, is here's all my video essays that are not overtly about video games in the title.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like there's a ton of depth to be found in a lot of video games, so they're very mineable for detailed diatribes. I think personally, I like doing detailed diatribes about movies because it wasn't on the list, but I really liked the Transformers 1 detailed diatribe we did earlier in the year because Transformers 1 is such a good movie.
So good.
And I think maybe it's a little bit easier when you have a movie that has to be self-contained front to back to pinpoint the scene that makes it work for you. Whereas with a show, it's a lot longer. There's a lot more context involved. It's like I can talk about how this one scene is a really good culmination, but it's not necessarily the culmination of every single theme in the show. Whereas with a movie, you can really have a single point that every thread in the movie goes through before it gets to the end. And with Transformers 1, like finding the tipping point where it's like, here's the moment that the war starts and never stops was like very fun and cool for me. And we got to talk about Superman, which was like, why is this version of Lex Luthor such a fantastic little hater? Why is he so amazingly bad in the best way? Like, yeah, I think for me at least, a movie is the perfect size of media for me to be able to digest down to like find the single pearl within the oyster and be like, here, allow me to show you. But
a good amount of details to diatribe. Well, this next question comes from Tiger Shark 2224 to all. What are your all-time favorite episodes of the podcast? I'm new here and I want to know which ones I definitely need to go back and listen to. I hope you guys are like me and are like, I could not tell you what happens in any random episode.
I am exactly like you. I couldn't tell you what happens in any random episode.
I've had to answer this question because our buddy Jack, Joxy Whipper, was like, what episodes of your podcast are the best? I'm on a road trip. I'm like, I would probably recommend, I think it might be like 42 with Armando Torres from formerly Rooster Teeth. Oh my God, he's so fucking funny. It was amazing having him on.
Yeah.
We did not deserve how funny he was in that episode.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. We were playing catch up.
I think it's good. Like a lot of the guest episodes tend to be good ones, you know, when we have buddies on. Like Jack has been on episodes in the past. The bonuses are good places to start if there's like a topic that you really want. The video game nostalgia one we did this year, I think is a good one to shout out.
That was a real fun one.
Yeah, because we'll try and do like 3 or 4 themed bonus episodes a year, which is just like, this is an episode that's all about Star Wars or The Last Airbender or whatever, which is great because like normally any given podcast episode, we will talk about whatever 2 videos we did most recently and then whatever's in the Q&A. There is never really a theme. There will just be discussion about specific videos, which makes it kind of hard to filter them because it's like, unless there's a specific video that you really want to hear us talk more about, there's not really a way to distinguish between them. And like, then it's like, okay, well, which Q&A has the best like time heist bits? Because that's the other, you know, running gag.
It's the first episode, actually. You should actually just go back and listen to the first episode.
It is
we
the
ever
first
did the
one.
Yeah, that's where we developed the
I do
only
recommend the After Show. Oh. And my drink
great.
order. I do also recommend the After Show episode that's just Blue and me talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! For 30
I almost
straight
mentioned the
minutes.
Yu-Gi-Oh! One from like 2 weeks ago.
We were left unsupervised, and then it was just, we were both like, wait, are we both still insane about this?
And then
yes.
that night we watched a whole bunch of season 0 Yu-Gi-Oh! And then several episodes of the
So anyway, we should look for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Detailed diatribe inevitably brewing. I want to clarify too, I like Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot as well. I just simply did not have any. I'm like, the brain cells are communicating directly on this one. They've activated their trap card. This After Show is only for Yu-Gi-Oh!
What happened was it was the direct follow-up to like, oh, it was right after PAX Unplugged. I'm extremely tired. And then by Friday it was like, hey guys, I'm viciously sick. It's like, oh, so that's what that was. Cool.
I was sent to the Shadow Realm and they were let loose for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, your ass got mind crushed, unfortunately. But it's, listen, one of my favorite feelings in the world is when I get to be like, oh, but what you don't know is that in the manga, because like I get to say this about I get to be like, oh, well, you know, having read all of Dragon Ball, let me tell you, like, well, you see in Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually, he made that guy explode, which is just so fun for me, because like it's rare for me to get to be like the actual expert in the room. And it's like, listen, about a lot of things, there are people who know more than me. About specific manga, it's me and no one. It's me in Mother's basement, and that's it. Which is fun for me. And I got to talk about how much good stuff was in Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0, and I had the most validating experience of, yeah, we should watch this, and then you being, we should watch more of this. It's rare that happens.
Yeah, it was probably like 3 hours. Cyan was at that point fully asleep on the couch. She was like, you two are having fun. Go off.
Yeah, very, very respectable. But yeah, so after Show, reason to perhaps join the Patreon.
Yeah, if you're not on the Patreon.
I did really like that episode a lot.
Fun times. But check out the bonuses, check out some guest episodes. Those are good places to jump in if you're not just going to go to the most recent podcast, because they tend to be the ones where we have the most nonsense going on. Most memorable nonsense, and not just like a wash of we've done hundreds of these. We've got another one of our hundreds of questions to get to. This comes from your local space cryptid to all. Whenever I had braces, every time I go to the orthodontist, I'd put on the newest OSPod to listen to. And now, whenever I listen to an episode, I feel the urge to brush my teeth. Have y'all ever Pavloved yourself on accident?
I thought you were going to say I got tooth pain whenever I listen to it now, because every time they tighten the braces.
We're teaching them dental hygiene.
Okay. I was worried.
Yeah. I need to
because orthodontist specifically, like that, for me, that always hurt.
That was rough. Listen, buddy, I know your pain. I think all of my pain tolerance is the result of having had braces and retainers in middle school. Also, all of my social ridicule tolerance came from the same thing.
Yep.
I accidentally Pavloved myself in the worst way when I was like 10 or 11 and new Doctor Who was coming out. And I've talked about this before. My parents were absolutely thrilled. New Who. Oh my God, more Doctor Who. I get to show my child this amazing, extremely low budget, goofy show that I liked. And I was enamored with it. I was thrilled. I thought it was so interesting. And I was also scared shitless every single episode because they find some new horrifying way to like scar me for life. And the one that really got me was the two-parter, The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances, the gas mask zombies one.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrifying. I rewatched those like earlier this year. It took me days. I was like pausing and unpausing it. Like I had to hype myself up. When I got to the scene where the guy's face turns into the gas mask on screen, I like had to like psych myself up. And then when I hit play, I was like, oh, that does look kind of janky. And then I felt like years of weight lifted off of me. I healed. But when I was 11 and this was the actual scariest thing I had ever seen in my life, like it's kind of hard to think about how much the first time you experience something will throw you for a loop. Like I remember when I was very small, my parents would watch some of this like comedy sci-fi show called Red Dwarf. And there's an episode where somebody's like pet canary gets like de-evolutioned into being a T-Rex. And that CGI T-Rex gave me nightmares for a week because it was the scariest thing I had ever seen at the time because I was like 3. Anyway, back to Doctor Who. So the thing is, basically, I had watched these episodes and I was absolutely terrified for like weeks afterwards. I was like, I can barely sleep. You know, what if the little gas mask kid punches down the wall like he did and turns me into a gas mask zombie? And at the time, I was also using this like strawberries and cream conditioner with a very strong smell. I had to never use it again because by the time I had sort of started getting over my fear, every time I smelled it again, I would just remember how scared shitless I had been. And I was like, okay, we're never doing this again. Oof. So I Pavloved myself in the worst way. And now I couldn't use that conditioner anymore.
I haven't done this recently, but in like early COVID, I would listen to audiobooks on walks. It was how I, got my outside time. I'd go on walks, put in a chapter of an audiobook, go have fun. And it happened enough that there were points in like my physical neighborhood that I associated with particular things in the audiobooks I was listening to. And it was mostly history for history stuff. So there was like, for a while, there was one bus stop where in my audiobook of Sicily by John Julius Norwich, the Normans are invading the Byzantines and it's not going well, which is good for the Byzantines because it means they don't get toppled, but it's bad for the Normans because this is basically what precipitates their larger fall. So I have very conflicted emotions about like my two favorite societies in this particular part of the world when I get to this one bus stop that I pass frequently. Less now, but there was a time. And there was one long street that I would walk up and down because it was very pretty. And I was listening to a chapter in Rome, A History in 7 Sackings by Matthew Neal, that was about Mussolini's Rome and what that was like under fascism. So it was like explaining all of the different things and like how he did like media control and, he had a newspaper and this and this and that and the way that it turned to propaganda. So there's like over the course of like a couple blocks, it's like this building is where the Abyssinian campaign in Ethiopia was going really, really well, and everyone thought it was going really, really well. And that building is when everyone realized, oh, he kind of fucked it. This is actually going terribly, in fact. So, like, the progression of Mussolini's propaganda disintegrating in front of his eyes is played out on a handful of buildings that I get like, yep, that's that building, that Mussolini's propaganda, Abyssinian campaign's going great whenever I pass by it. Again, less now because I don't listen to audiobooks as much anymore, because I don't take those kinds of walks in the same way. I don't have the like pathological need to be out of the house for
Right.
because I can just do that normally and it's fine. 2021 crazy man.
Well, congrats on the Mind Palace.
Yeah, so serious Mind Palace shit, audiobooks into real life.
I did something kind of similar because I had to get a lot of blood work done this year. I'm fine. It was mostly annoying. But the lab works where I would have to go get the blood work done after fasting and my apartment are directly in the center of them is a banh mi place I really like. And so my Blue, thank you for this language, my high value treat for having to fast and then get my blood drawn was that I would get a banh mi and a little beverage on my walk home because I would put the order in when I left lab works and be ready for pickup directly when I showed up there, and then I'd get home and I just shove the entire thing in my mouth to feel less woozy. But now I've started to both associate any medical thing I have to do, like doctor's appointment, with Indigo gets a banh mi, and every time I get a banh mi, I'm like, oh, I feel a little bit woozy as though I've just had my blood drawn, and it's
Whoa.
It's benefited one and harmed the other in a way I was not anticipating.
Yeah.
But yeah, banh mi's are good.
Yeah.
Get a banh mi. Why not? Pavlov yourself with a good little with a high
your
value
homework
treat.
for today.
You deserve a high value treat. That was the best thing you ever gave me this year, Blue, is that you introduced me to this concept.
I'm glad. Is there another Q&A question about what vocabulary is infected? Each
No,
other
but feel
this
free
year?
to, if you want to add to the glossary, I guess, go pop off. High value treat.
I've been actively stopping myself from saying "of it all" because it's a very you-ism for me. Like I've been hearing other people say it. Like I said, I've been watching a lot of Smosh Pit, and they're all starting to say it.
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
like, where is it spreading? But it's so tempting. It's a great way to end a sentence, but I refuse to succumb.
Well, speaking of language, we've got one last question here relating to both language and our one age-old friend, the time heist. This question comes from Scarlet Nova. To all, where would the time heist's one F-bomb go, assuming it's PG-13? So as we all know, the rule is that if a film is PG-13, they get one F-bomb before they get to change the rating. In the time heist's situation, where do we want to put that for maximum effect?
I think
First,
there's
go
two
ahead.
possibilities because like the comedy will come from it being unexpected, and the way I see it, there are two ways we can do that. One of them is it comes from a character who is so like nice or like generally so buttoned up that why would they ever swear? So like my first thought was, okay, Tripitaka, after he gets kidnapped by somebody, like at the very climax of the movie when everything looks like it's worse, he's like, what the fuck? I think that would be pretty funny. Other possibility, it's a character who doesn't speak English. Like it's like Da Vinci or something and he's only speaking like Italian
really
all
good.
movie. And then like something crazy
that's
happens
better.
and he does what the fuck? And the thing is, I'm taking this from our friend Noir who did this joke in the Julius Caesar video we
100%.
did.
Yeah, that's
where he did
right.
the whole thing in Latin and then "and you, Brutus," which was
Yeah.
really good. That was really, really good. I love that bit. We're gonna be chasing the high of that
Noir
bit
really
forever.
peaked for
Forever.
all of us in that moment. I like that concept a lot because I
Yeah.
think it does let you, because it also gives us the option of character who is comedic because they are exclusively speaking like, you know, Italian or Latin or whatever it is the entire time, and then drops one English F.
Or like it's Joan of Arc and she only speaks French and she's really like
Don't make
badass
me learn
and
French for
cool
this.
and like, but she's only speaking French and we're like, see.
Joan of Arc is good. I like the idea of Da Vinci because it gives him a kind of like R2D2-esque quality to him if he's only speaking Italian. And like my character would know it, so he says something and I'm like, oh well, Macerto, of course, yeah, obviously.
That
But
gives
then
him a
everyone else is like,
Chewbacca-esque
what are you
It also
saying?
presents a real opportunity for like all of his devices and inventions and stuff to be like the instruction manual or like voice activation is all in Italian. So if he's ever not around, we have a very interesting sequence that then follows of like, well, how do the rest of us who don't speak Italian figure out how to use that fly machine?
Obvious running gag, the activation phrase is Bolje. Red struggles with it for 5 minutes. I walk up 2 seconds later, Bolje, get in!
We have like the bit with like the horror movie guy pursuing. It's like, I can't get the keys. It's like, I can't pronounce the word correctly. Mamma mia.
This is escalated into a much better bit than just who gets the
Yes.
F-bomb.
Yeah,
Because I was going to be like, oh, it's funny if, like, when Tripitaka, we accidentally kidnap him, and we find out it's him and Sun Wukong's coming for us. It's like, oh, fuck! But it's
Yeah.
kind of over and
We
done.
find him
There's
in the
no
trunk of the
build-up.
car. What the
Yeah.
fuck? Yeah.
Yeah, but no,
yeah.
the Da Vinci is peak.
Yeah, and I feel like it's got to be a scene that is otherwise
Ottimo.
not particularly like it can't be like the climax of the film, right? Like this is really just like he just reveals after he stubs his toe or something in like the denouement that
Yeah.
he's actually been able to speak one phrase in English this whole time. You know.
He drops a wrench on his foot.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
fuck.
Exactly. You see the vision.
I mean,
But
Correct.
with our PG-13 rating secured, that brings us to the end of this New Year's bonus, this New Year's Q&A. Red, you've got to know what I'm going to say next, right?
sometimes I get off the hook because it's a
This is
special
not
occasion.
one of those occasions,
but not
no.
today, I see. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you all so much for joining us for this very special bonus New Year's Eve podcast episode. We hope that 2025 was all right and that 2026 will be better for everybody involved. Fingers crossed. I think it'll be a good time. But
Cheers.
yeah, we'll see. As always, we will be continuing to put out new videos for the year of 2026. It will, however, be at a slightly slower pace because we will be chilling out and sleeping a little bit and working on other stuff
Yes.
at a pace less than breakneck, hopefully. But yeah, so I think that's everything we had to discuss. So until next time, I have been Red.
Io ero blu.
And this has been the Overly Sarcastic Podcast.
Fuck!